Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Beef Medium Podcast. I'm your host, Zach, aka Snack with Zach, and I'm not joined by my brother and co-host Matt today because he is on a shoot for a client. So we're taking it solo today, but it is a really exciting episode. Sandwiches of History is on. Barry, his entire thing is literally exploring sandwiches from history. He started this in 2018, and then 2020 rolls around, and he decides to start getting super serious about the sandwiches again. He's done over 1,000 recipes, and we're talking about all periods from history. The oldest one he's done is from 200 BC, but we're talking about things from the 1800s, the 1900s, a whole mess of stuff. Barry, all around, is a really cool guy. His early career, he was at Netflix for like 10 years back when they were doing DVDs in the mail. So we talked a bit about that. But the big thing is Sandwiches of History has started off as a social media page about sandwiches. It's turned into a roadshow. He has a Sandwiches of History cookbook. Really, really cool guy who has some great advice as well when it comes to making content, but really just a fascinating niche to explore. So without further ado, please welcome Barry Enderwick, aka Sandwiches of History. You don't have a podcast, do you?
No. So Jim Beheimer, Sandwich Tribunal, and John, who's Sandwich Dad, and I have a podcast called Sandwich Talk, and we've done exactly 2 episodes. And it's kind of tough to coordinate schedules to get a third one going, but we're going to at some point.
When did you start that podcast? Or at least attempted?
October is when we first did September was our first episode. And the guest was Bill Oakley, and then our second episode was in October, and our guest was Jake from Rule for Sandwich.
Very nice. You know who I saw the other day at dinner?
Who?
Bill Oakley.
Did you go to one of his dinners?
I did, yeah. So he did the culinary curiosity dinner in Boston. He did 2 of them back to back on, I want to say it was Sunday or Monday, and so I went to the latter one, which was awesome. It was really, really cool. That's
awesome.
Have you done one of them yet?
No.
Yeah. Well, and you guys have done some really cool stuff too between his culinary curiosities dinner and your road show, which you're in between right now, right? It's kind of been ongoing.
Yeah, it's because I got a day job, so it's got to.
Yeah. I was wondering that actually.
Yeah, absolutely. This does not pay the bills. It's been ongoing since last November, but we're actually going to do the final 5 shows this fall, starting on September 27th in Austin, the September 29th in Las Vegas, October 1st in Denver. We're working on Minneapolis. We don't have that finalized. Minneapolis in October 3rd, and then finally in Phoenix or Tempe, Arizona on October 5th.
I need to get to it, but then things pop up all the time.
My original idea for this was to have like a show, and then the next day I would partner with a local restaurant and offer up actual sandwiches of history for people to taste. They can buy, and you buy plus-ups. But I just couldn't get that together. So I'm actually working on another iteration of a tour that's less me yapping and more come on down, hang out. We'll talk about the sandwiches. You can order Sandwiches of History. You can order plus-ups if you want, that kind of thing. So it's more interactive.
Okay. Well, I feel like you talking is a big part of it, though. And we need to set the stage for everybody listening, but we do need to set the stage for what Sandwiches of History it is, because when I started this podcast like a year ago, you were like very, very high on the list because somebody had introduced me to your page. Yeah. I mean, I want to say it was early 2024. And I was like, there is a man who goes on social media and you explore different recipes for sandwiches throughout the course of history.
That's pretty much it. The way I describe it is I make sandwiches from old recipes exactly as written, and then plus them up for the modern palate if they have potential. Okay. And so the idea is, because what was happening is I didn't originally start doing plus-ups or anything like that. I was just like, this sandwich is kind of okay. If you just added a couple things, it'd be good. And it's like, why don't I just add a couple things and see if this is something I would want to make again? And so I just started doing that there's some that are beyond redemption. And there was a few where it's just like, man, I don't feel like adding anything.
Well, that was actually one of my questions too, going into this, was the oldest sandwich that I could find that you did was 1878. That was the ham sandwich. I'm sure it goes back way further. Do you know what the oldest one you did was?
Well, technically, it's 200 BC.
Oh, jeez. It's off by like 2,000 years.
Well, I mean, it's from China. It's called the roadshow, and they also call it Chinese hamburger. A lot of places, some places that actually make it. And basically, it's meat that is stewed with warm spices and cornstarch that just breaks down, gets velvety smooth, and then it's put in between this griddle cake that's split almost all the way through. Okay. So to me, that counts as a sandwich. The oldest Western sandwich I've done is from 1777, and it was just meat between buttered bread.
That is a classic. Good old beef.
Yeah, I know, right?
Actually, this takes me to a bunch of different places because I was going to ask you what your take on hot dogs and burgers being sandwiches. So,
they are.
Hot dog is a hot dog a sandwich?
It is.
It is, and a burger is a sandwich.
I've got two explanations for that. One is very not satisfying. It is if you want it to be because everything's made up.
This is true. Actually, I buy that full. It's like time. Time's made up anyway. It's all arbitrary.
Yeah, everything's a construct. But I actually look at the bun, and if you look at the bun is pretty equal thickness on both two sides and a very thin hinge, not unlike a hoagie roll.
Okay.
So you do eat it differently than a sandwich. You eat it but I think it's just an accommodation for the tubular meat.
I mean, that's a good way to put it, too, because you wouldn't think of it traditionally as such, but the burger also,
it's
if you
were sandwich.
To swap it out for a piece of fried chicken, you have a chicken sandwich. So it kind of automatically becomes the thing. Is there anything that you think is not a sandwich that people say is?
Sometimes people will talk about tacos as being sandwiches, which to me, that's not true because the tortilla is uniform thickness. So it's more like a sling.
This is so fascinating.
And of course, a burrito is not a sandwich. But then you get into the slippery slope of like a chicken shawarma sandwich, which is just in a pita that's folded over. But it's delicious, so I'm not gonna not eat it.
Do wraps count as well?
I think wraps are more like burritos.
Yeah, they're kind of like
personally
a Venn diagram of stuff. So
but again, like I'm not one to get hung up on this. It's just if you enjoy it, enjoy it.
Right. Well, that's the thing with people in the internet is they take things very, very seriously. Yeah. We were talking about this on another episode about the temperatures at which people prefer their meat cooked, which is everything from black and blue to just completely hammered. And for some stuff it works and some stuff it doesn't. In your case in particular, I'm from Massachusetts, so I saw what you did with the North Shore roast beef, which is one of the most iconic sandwiches, at least for here. And that rare, tasty. Dude, you cooked that roast really, really well.
Thank you. I know my way around the kitchen a little bit. I've been cooking for a long time now, so but it was tasty. I loved it.
It looked fantastic. Where are you from originally? That's a big question.
Well, let's see. I was pushed out in Columbus, Ohio. Lived there for 6 years. Lived in Virginia Beach, Virginia for 6 years. Then we moved out to San Diego, and I knocked around there for about 21 years. And then I moved up to San Jose because I got a job working for Netflix.
Okay, and you did.
I no longer work for Netflix, just to be clear.
But you were at Netflix for about 10 years. It was a big chunk of your
11 years, and 2001 to 2012.
That's the early days. Do you ever think about the world with Blockbuster and everything before the Netflix days? Because you were there at it was about 2009, right?
So I had tried Netflix before I had gotten a job there. It was one of those things where back in those early days of the internet, you could get these deals and they're like 10 free rentals. And it was when Netflix was a la carte rentals. And so I got 10 free rentals and I tried it and I thought this could kill Blockbuster because this is so much more convenient. I don't have to go to the store. I don't have to worry about late fees. This is fantastic. And then I ended up, a friend of a friend said, they're looking for a graphic designer. And I'm like, well, I'm a graphic designer. I'm looking for a job. And I love this concept. So I interviewed 3 rounds of interviews later, got a job at Netflix as the graphic designer in marketing. If you saw any marketing materials from Netflix from 2001 to 2005, I did them all.
See, that's a crazy connection that I wasn't even expecting because I remember getting those as a kid when we first started receiving the DVDs in the mail because we also went to Blockbuster like everybody else did. And it was just such a game-changing time. Granted, I was born in 1997, so I don't have a massive memory of what super early 2000s was like. Like, I do remember 9/11, which is messed up, but, so many people do. And then, but I remember distinctly like that 2007 shift where all of a sudden you had those social platforms. You had YouTube, you had Facebook. MySpace already existed, but that was like the start of the Netflix boom, what people call sort of the golden age. But content obviously started popping up around that point.
We had distinct phases in the growth of Netflix, and it was DVD by mail. Then in 2007, we launched streaming. No one was doing streaming. And everyone was caught flat-footed because they're like, what is this DVD company doing streaming? And it's like, Reed Hastings, the CEO, had this. He understood what was happening with broadband speeds going up, prices going down, access increasing. And he says it's just a matter of time. So while we were the DVD company, we were busy working on streaming, then launched streaming. Once that got established, and at first we were just on like PS3, Wii, Xbox 360, because those are the largest installed base of devices connected to the internet.
Okay.
Then eventually we helped OEMs install Netflix on their Blu-ray players, DVD players, get them connected to the internet, that kind of stuff. Then the next phase was original content, which is, I left right when that fired up. But the idea was we need to have stuff that's our own, because increasingly people who are licensing content to Netflix were like, wait a minute, you guys are getting huge off of our content. We want more money, or ridiculous amounts of money for it. So the idea was, hey, can Netflix make content that people want to see and become more like a movie studio? And there they are.
Turns out they did. And what a play that was too. It was a really big shift in the era, and that's when a lot of people started making their own content too. And you being a creative person, sounds like throughout your career, was 2020 when you started Sandwiches of History, right? Was that the start of content, or were you doing it earlier around the early days of it?
No, I wasn't doing it around the early days of it, because the early days I was still at Netflix. So I just didn't have any bandwidth for that. But I actually started reviewing potato chips from around the world in 2016 or something like that.
This is the first stint. Wasn't even sandwiches.
No, it wasn't even sandwiches. I was just posting to Facebook for family and friends. And it was just a picture and a description. My friend Adam says, you should start a vlog. And I'm like, all right. So I do. I started on YouTube, and you can go look. The boring, rambling, 2-minute long things. And I took that I'm like, well, let me try Instagram, because I enjoy browsing Instagram. Instagram had a restriction of videos can only be 60 seconds. And so that made me cut out the ums, ahs, ahs. And all of a sudden the videos got kind of funny. I'm like, oh, there you go. So that's when I started that. And then I started Sandwiches of History in the fall of 2018 on Instagram.
Okay.
But that same rule about 60 seconds was not working for the making of videos for the sandwiches. So I posted a picture, and then I'd say, see the making of video in stories. And it was cut up into 15-second segments in stories. And first of all, you're asking people to go do something else when they're already you've already got their attention, right? Not a good idea. Second of all, the stories disappear after 24 hours. So it's like, okay, great. And then you could have story archives, but it was just like, so after 2 weeks, you'd have 14 little dots to scroll through if you wanted to see. And it didn't work. So I stopped posting for about a year and a half, and then TikTok came along. And I thought, well, wait a sec. What if I take those, download the stories, stitch them back together, do no work on them, put them up on TikTok, see how they do. And they took off. And so I started recording new ones. And then eventually Instagram realized that TikTok was eating its lunch. So I went back to Instagram, and it grew there. And I just decided, you know what? I'm going to put it on all platforms that I can, just to sort of mitigate the fact that the algorithm is not going to show me to everybody who says they want to see it. So now I'm on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Reddit.
Yeah, with Reddit, you have a pretty big subreddit too for Sandwiches of History. Isn't it like 50,000 people, give or take? It's a sizable group.
38,000. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the one subreddit I started once, which was for raw fish and oysters and all that stuff, had maybe 15 people. So I'm in a Reddit community dedicated to it. Have you done a Discord? I know you're in Bill Oakley's in the Steam Ham Society. I
do. Yeah. I poke in there every once in a while. I tried doing Patreon and Discord for In the Chips, and I tried doing Patreon and Discord for Sandwiches of History, but I found that I couldn't really build it a smart thing. He got people to be moderators on his Discord server. And so he's got people. I could not do that all myself. I couldn't come up with, especially on Patreon, the different tiers of benefits. It's like
there's so much there.
There's so much to do. It's so much work. So I just collapsed it all into Substack. So I've got email there, and I can also do stuff that's just for members. And now YouTube has memberships, so I'm doing stuff for them. And there's some subscription on Instagram as well. So.
Okay. These are all things that I've considered exploring, but it's hard to do when I do food news content, right? So it's difficult for me to go and be like, oh, I can give you this preview of this thing. Yeah. And it's so time sensitive. But with everything that you make, you're putting out a video usually every day, give or take, right?
Yeah, I post every day. I post at noon Pacific time every day. And that's on purpose.
It's dedication. I do that as well, but the times are random. But there's so much production that goes into what you do that I'm like, And the fact that you have a day job, how do you balance Sandwiches of History versus your regular work?
Well, I work from home. That's one thing. The other, I'm a partner in a marketing consulting firm, marketing and business consulting firm. So one of our biggest clients fired up this year in February. And so from February until about early July, I was dedicated to working on the day job stuff and doing Sandwiches of History. But it's really not, on a day-to-day basis, the Sandwiches of History videos are not that complex. It's basically find recipes to do, get the ingredients, prep the ingredients, make the sandwich. The recording takes, once I've got everything prepped, the recording only takes like 15 minutes. And then the thing that takes the most time is doing the captions, because within Premiere Pro, they have a thing that automatically transcribes, but it's not perfect. So you have to go through and then doing the thumbnails, the descriptions, the staging, all that kind of stuff.
It's usually the most amount of work too, is sitting there and editing the captions so you say like the right words and people aren't like, oh, you said this thing wrong, or like, what does this mean? It's like, it wasn't me, it's the auto caption. Like yesterday,
it's funny how it can never get all right. The AL. It's always all
and it's second the word weird right. Things it gets correct too, and you're like, oh, it's totally going to butcher this, and then it gets every word of that. And I also have an issue, most people know, where I don't speak super clearly because I go through things so quickly in my content, and I'm like, oh, there's no way that the captions are going to get this, and then it does, and then the next sentence is something that's spoken so clearly, and the words are completely wrong.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, how did you spell Schenectady right? But like,
of all the things, Schenectady is what you spell correctly, but everything else you get Boston wrong. It blows my mind. It's such an effort, but I just want to say commendable that you do this along with the roadshow and everything else. Yeah, what was fun. It about sandwiches in particular that got your attention? Like, was it just a recipe in a book? There's obviously an origin story here that has caused you to latch onto this in a really cool way for that's 5+ years at this point.
Yeah, well, you know, the gentleman I mentioned earlier, my friend Adam, who said you should start a vlog about In the Chips, he sent me a PDF of the Up-to-Date Sandwich book that was published in 1909. And I thought, first of all, that's a hilarious title, because once you publish a book, it's no longer up to date.
It's no longer.
But I was looking through them, some of them, some were just so goofy. And I'm like, this would be kind of fun to do. And I love sandwiches. Sandwiches are pretty amazing. Like, you can change out the bread, how the bread's treated, what's in between the bread. You can textures, different flavors from around the world. You can mash up cuisine. Like, there's so much possibility, and it's portable. So I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to do this. We'll just call it Sandwiches of History, which put no thought into the name, just came up with that and said, oh, we'll call it Sandwiches of History. Created a little logo, which, you know, in retrospect, probably isn't the best logo, but
do you still use it?
Oh yeah, no, it's on all my thumbnails.
Sometimes all you need is one.
Yeah, thumbnails. I've got merch with it on there. Yeah, so
have you think you've done 1,000 recipes? You must have done 1,000 recipes.
Yeah, I've definitely gone over 1,000.
Do you feel like you've got the majority of them? Like, how many recipes do you think you can get? It's crazy that there are so many.
Yes, I agree. Now, there's a lot of overlap with the old books, but like, for example, in 1936, 1,001 sandwiches. That's a couple of years of content there, right? If you do one a day.
It's its own book.
The Up-to-Date Sandwich book of 1909 was 400 recipes. So there's a lot. And, you know, I've also expanded what I do. I do International Sandwich Sunday. I also do sandwiches from our history, where I have people send in sandwiches that their mom or their aunt or their dad or grandpa or whatever made that aren't necessarily captured in a book. That would be fun to try. So we do that. So, and, you know, sandwiches of movie history, TV history, like different shows. Like, I've done a couple of sandwiches from Dragnet. I'd be surprised if this was going to end because of lack of sandwich recipes.
And we don't want it to end, for the record, because it's so cool. But I think about that because having to cover news content, it's constantly like, I need to like go out and hunt for whatever's next. But history has done so much of the work, right? Yeah. And I actually have a really random side thought. Speaking of TV, this is such a stupid question. I saw something that popped up on my shorts the other day, and it was a Peter Griffin car sandwich with from Family Guy. I don't even watch Family Guy. Do you know what I'm talking about? With the Cadbury egg and like the sausage and like all this nasty stuff on it.
I know Family Guy, but I'm not familiar with that sandwich.
Oh God, it's atrocious, and I need to send it to you so you
should send it to me, because that would be kind of fun to do.
It's disgusting, or at least it looks. Hey, I'm not going to knock anything before I try it. But
you never know. You never know, man. That's something that I've learned. Like, you know, someone would send in a sandwich recipe. I'm like, this is not going to be good. And it's like, there was one that someone sent in, like their grandpa made it. And it was, you sauteed sardines that were packed in maple syrup in butter. and then you add chili flakes. And I'm like, oh, come on, this sounds like a dare. It was delicious. It was so good. So you never know.
I would try that. Yeah. What else has surprised you from a recipe standpoint? Things that you weren't expecting to be good, but turned out to be really enjoyable.
Well, shameless plug, but on the cover of my Sandwiches of History, the cookbook, is the sophisticated club sandwich from 1950 something. It's some post-war fever dream of a sandwich because it's got everything. It's got ham, it's got American cheese, it's got tomato, it's avocado, peanut butter, unsweetened coconut. And it's just like, I fully expected that to be garbage. And it was tasty. It was tasty. And I've had other people that have the same, they've made it and they're like, this should not have worked. And it's like, yes, that's what I'm saying. Oh, there's bacon in it too.
Ooh, sometimes there's just a combination of those flavors that catches you off guard. Like we were eating baked beans last night. And Bill Oakley's tour is sponsored by Zab's hot sauce.
Yep, hot sauce, yep.
I put the hot sauce on the baked beans accidentally, and I was like, this is fantastic. There was the original one, and like some of the flavors worked. And then my dad was sitting across from me, and he's like, no way that's good. He gave me this weird look, just like I gave you about the Ultimate Club. And he tried it, and he was like, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's weird how that works. Is there anything that you were expecting to be good that wasn't?
No, usually you can spot the stinkers from a mile away. The ones that are awful, like the yeast sandwich.
I don't think I'm hip to the yeast sandwich. What is a yeast sandwich?
Wow. Okay, so a little context. Back in 1928, sliced bread came out. Suddenly there was something, everything was compared to sliced bread starting.
Greatest thing since sliced bread.
Exactly. And so people weren't baking at home as much. Fleischmann Brothers, who sell yeast, saw a decline in sales, and so they got to do something. So they got together with a marketing agency in New York, and they came up with the Eat Fresh Yeast for Health campaign. Fresh yeast, compressed in a cake. It's kind of damp. It's not totally dry, but it's not totally wet. But they were able to get people to make recipes using that yeast cake. And so from 1001 Sandwiches of 1936 came the yeast sandwich, which was a compressed yeast cake mixed with table sauce, which could either mean Worcestershire sauce or ketchup. It really doesn't matter.
I do love both.
Yeah, but mashed with a yeast cake and then put onto buttered bread. And I've never eaten spackle before, but I imagine it's kind of similar to that as texture. It was terrible.
Have you ever had Vegemite or Marmite?
I've had both before. Yes.
That's similar?
No. That is far different because that actually has a lot of flavor to it. It's a little bit of bitterness, and you have to be hyper judicious. Some folks in England would probably argue otherwise, or in Australia would argue otherwise. No, you got to lay it on thick. But for me, I found like if you do a very thin layer with some butter and like a tomato or something, it's actually pretty good. Or some cheddar cheese. It's actually pretty good, but you have to be really judicious. It's kind of like with anchovy paste. If used correctly, it can be good. But most of the recipes don't do that.
And I feel like oyster sauce and fish sauce can be like that too, because
fish sauce for sure. Yeah, because it's better if it's cooked, because then it kind of takes away the odoriferousness of it. Yeah.
Yes,
the musk.
There's this in essence. I remember the first time. I used to do a lot more cooking. I wish I did more of it now. But I remember the first time I opened fish sauce, expecting it to smell like soy sauce, and I was maybe 10. Yeah, it was rough.
The first time I cooked with it, I was like, this smells terrible. And then I cooked with it, and I tasted the food, and I was like, this tastes fantastic.
Amazing. Yeah, it's great. Like, it works with everything. I had to give the Vegemite Marmite thing a spin again because my brother really likes it. Is a person who can like just load it on, man. I know, absolutely. I remember the first time I tried it, I couldn't. But with cheddar cheese or something sounds good.
Yeah, put it on butter bread really lightly. Just do it really lightly, and then put on some cheddar cheese. And I think you might like it. It's for me, it's all about balance, and slathering it on is not balanced for me.
Well, it gets difficult too when it comes to stuff from other cultures because. Yep. I mean, I'm trying also not to sit here and react and make everything seem like it's gross and crazy too when you talk about maple syrup dunked anchovies, but at the same time, there are things that you just would not expect to be good that turn out to be that way. And
I tend to talk about things as being not really agreeing with my palate as opposed to this is awful, right? Because just because I think it's awful doesn't mean it's objectively awful. Like I think anything truffle flavored is terrible, but that's because my palate does not interact with it like everyone else's does. You know, who am I to trash the truffle flavor and say it's terrible?
That's completely valid. We talk about this all the time because I talk about so many products that hit stores, and people will constantly be like, there's some things that are very, very polarizing, like hot honey right now is a very polarizing flavor. Some people love it. Some people can't stand it. It's kind of everywhere. I know in sandwiches, it makes its way just sort of everywhere.
Yeah. Pizza.
I love it on the pizza. The thing is, like, I happen to be a fan of it, but I understand people's, contention with it being a little bit oversaturated. Yeah. So
I get it.
Ultimately, the bottom line is Matt. His whole thing is saying like it's not for me, which is so similar to what you say about it doesn't agree with your palate, because what I like you might not, and what you like I might not, and some things we're going to agree on. Some things are the best thing ever, some things are the worst thing ever. But people have such visceral reactions with the internet these days. I'm sure you see a lot of that too when it comes to some of the recipes you make.
Absolutely. People like, cilantro is the devil's soap or something like that. It's like,
where do you stand on the cilantro issue?
Well, I don't have the genetic predisposition to think it tastes like soap, so I love it. I think it's fantastic. But I recognize that there are people out there for who it tastes like soap. I get it. I wouldn't eat it either if I had that genetic disposition. But just no reason to say like cilantro is trash. And it's like cilantro doesn't work with your palate. Don't be.
Or the alternative of you're a child because you don't like cilantro. And it's like, really?
Just ease up. Ease up.
What are some of your favorites outside of the sandwich? Because you cover a lot, obviously. You talk about ice cream, you review craft beer, the Barry Expanded Universe. There's a lot that you do, which is, I mean, you're like me, where you kind of not that you like everything, but you have various interests when it comes to the snacky, foodie stuff like that. Yeah. What would you say, if you were to have a meal, is something that you tend to gravitate towards?
I like all kinds of food, so it's kind of tough to pin it down. But I will say that one of my go-tos is this chicken shawarma recipe that I got from a guy off Instagram, Chef Charania, I believe his name is. And it's basically you take a bunch of spices, mix it with cornstarch and oil, coat boneless, skinless chicken thighs, and let them sit for a few hours in the fridge. Oof. Then you pack them into these small mini loaf tins that you can buy at like Safeway or whatever supermarket is near you. And you cook it in the oven 400 degrees for like an hour. And it just kind of confits, if it, kind of like that.
The chicken thighs.
And then he does and you can't overcook chicken thighs really. And then he also has a recipe for golden rice, which has cumin and turmeric that goes with it. And it's just, I probably made that half a dozen times. It's so good.
That sounds fantastic.
So, and it's easy. Like you just marinate the chicken, put the chicken in the oven, done. And then the rice is the most complex thing.
Chicken thighs is a beautiful meat in the context of it being very underrated. It's very polarizing in my house and has been for a very long time. My dad, for some reason, doesn't like chicken thighs. We don't know why. I'm not going to bash him. We just talked about bashing people on their taste, but it surprises me because when I lived in New York City, right, and I was broke when I lived in New York, so chicken was was the meat to go to, and so I would go and I would get a couple packs of chicken thighs and some shitty $3 or $4 bottle of sauce. It's more like $8 or $9 in New York, but I would fill a bag with the the sauce and the chicken thighs, and you let it sit for like you're saying, like 5 or 6 hours, and you put it in a pie plate, something like that, and you just let it kind of stew cook for 30 minutes, and then you have the best meat ever.
Yeah, totally agree. It's funny because I think my mom did not enjoy dark meat, chicken or turkey.
Parents, what's up with that?
I don't know why. I never bothered to I did ask her, but she wouldn't actually tell me. She just said she didn't like it. It's like, all right, well, yeah. But for me, it's like, it's got two great things going for it. One, you can't really overcook it. I mean, you'd have to really screw up to overcook a chicken thigh. And two, it's got so much more flavor than chicken breast.
It does. It's way more of a complex thing. And
Yeah.
I have to ask because I'm curious. I'm very close with my mom. I think you guys were also close. Did she ever come along for the sandwiches a history journey? Did she ever try any of this stuff?
Unfortunately, no. So she got diagnosed with early stage dementia and Alzheimer's probably about 15 years ago. And for the last 10 years, she was just barely alive, to be honest.
Yeah.
Which is, her passing was not unexpected, but still sad. But she was not, when she was fully functional, she was interesting because she would screw things up like vegetables. She would put frozen asparagus in a tray with a stick of butter and put it in the microwave for 10 minutes. Yeah. Kind of gray, stringy, terrible. But man, she could nail a quiche. She knew how to make a quiche, and a souffle. She could do it souffle, but for some reason, vegetables were a problem. It was strange. So no, was not able to see any of the food social media stuff that I've done at all.
That's really unfortunate. But it does sound like she passed on some sort of culinary gene, because you're making roast beef that looks fantastic and you have some sort of itch for it.
Well, I think, for me, it was the thing that woke me up was with my significant other, Christine, and her family. I would go to their place for Thanksgiving, and her mom would cook all these fantastic things, and she had Food and Wine and gourmet magazines. And so I just started flipping through them. And I'm like, well, I want to try this. And I started transcribing by hand, because it's back in the early 90s, recipes from these magazines to try, and just started getting into cooking. To me, that was the impetus that kind of got me from I just eat and I just buy food to I want to cook, I want to create stuff, I want to make flavors.
Well, there are so many different roads to get there too. For a lot of folks, I do know it was the magazines and the books. All it takes is one to get you just a little bit more interested in it, because you've got a lot of different categories of people, but a lot of folks think that the cooking thing is very complex. I don't necessarily fall in that camp, but for me, I'm just perpetually taking hours to make any sort of decent recipe. So I stick to the basics, like breakfast sandwiches, very easy, simple to make.
Sure.
But, there is something that becomes very methodic about making the food. It's so much more personal, but I happen to suffer from something where everything I make, I just don't like, and other people do. And I don't know if it's universal. Do you experience that?
I think it is. I used to a lot more, but I don't as much. Yeah. But I can tell, when I've absolutely nailed something, I can tell.
Yeah. It's great. It's incredible. You could eat it all day, every single day for the rest of your life.
And when I've screwed something up, I know it. But it's never a case of I don't enjoy the food that I cook. Mm-hmm. Right. I don't, I think there is something too that you go through this process of making the food, prepping the ingredients, cooking the food, assembling the food. And by the time you get done, you've probably been tasting, you've probably been smelling. And so you sit down to eat it and it's kind of anticlimactic because of the process that you went through to make it. I think that plays a little bit of a part in it.
This kind of just blew my mind a little bit.
You're welcome, I think.
Well, thank you. This has been like therapy. It's food therapy. Because I always wondered, I was like, I'd spend 4 hours cooking this thing, and my other issue is that I'll pick at stuff, like you're saying, but if it's I don't know, I used to do a really good chicken parm casserole, right? And you cook the chicken first, then I just eat the chicken as I'm preparing everything else, like the pasta, all the stuff going into it, or the lasagna. I'm eating the cheese in the lasagna, and then slowly but surely the lasagna comes out, and I'm like. So
next time you make a recipe, consciously say, "I am not nibbling while I'm making it," and see how it turns out.
I'm going to make that conscious decision. I'm also I'm guilty of all the bad things, like going to the grocery store hungry and overbuying. Yeah. It's just, so this is putting me on a better path. I like to think that I'm not alone in that.
No, but you're not.
It's a complex that eventually I'll figure out and resolve. But what put you on the path to starting the cookbook? Because obviously you experienced so many cookbooks. I mean, up-to-date recipes of sandwiches.
I know. A publisher reached out and said, "Hey, have you ever thought about doing a cookbook?" And I'm like, "No." Why would I do a cookbook?
Not even once?
No, I'm not a chef. I'm not someone who writes a cookbook. But then thought about it. It's like, well, there are a bunch of sandwich recipes that I think are worth people checking out. And I could just adapt them so that, A, they make one sandwich as opposed to 5, which that's one of the biggest challenges with some of these old recipes is to make like 20 sandwiches. And I got to go, okay, 10, 5 sandwiches, 2.5. Okay. So like figuring out the amounts for that kind of stuff. There's also the fact that some of the recipes went a little too heavy on the anchovy paste. If they dialed it back a little bit, it'd be good. So I just basically, it's a cookbook of adapted recipes from different cookbooks of sandwiches that I think are interesting. They're categorized in kind of like style of sandwich, a tea sandwich, sauce sandwiches, that kind of stuff, international sandwiches. And I just thought it'd be kind of fun to do. So I said, yeah, okay, I'll do it. And made the book. And the Sandwiches of History Live was a result of me realizing they're not going to send me on a book tour. I'm not a known quantity, right? I'm not on TV or anything like that. So I thought, well, what if we could do, and it was after attending one of Bill Oakley's Mission Hill shows, not the Curiosity Dinners, but he and his friend Josh did Mission Hill TV show.
Josh Weinstein.
Mm-hmm. Both were writers on The Simpsons and showrunners and producers, and they did Mission Hill, which I guess had a resurgence during COVID because it got put back on Adult Swim. And so for the 25th anniversary, they did a tour around America where they'd go to theaters, show clips, show an episode, do Q&A, that kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, what if I do a show about sandwiches of history, and it's live and it's interactive, and people buy tickets and it can kind of fund itself, sort of. So I got together with his producer of his live show, and we came up with the show for Sandwiches of History Live. It
is really cool how you took such a simple thing just out of a passion. You turned it into all these things. Even if, the book was somebody saying, hey, you should do a book, but to go through and do all the content and hit the road show, right? Is there anything that you see? Well, go ahead, by all means.
Well, I was going to say, like, I had never written a book, never written a cookbook. And the idea of...
It's okay, neither have I.
Putting together a tour, never done that before. I've talked on stage. I've been on, I've done presentations at companies, but I've not gotten in front of a theater, up on a theater stage in front of a crowd before.
What do you think is easier? You think that doing like tech keynotes was easier? Or do you think that doing Sandwiches of History is easier?
I think they're both relatively easy because the folks who are there because they want to be. They're into it. They're a lot of fun. It's great to meet people in real life who I've interacted with, in the comments section, but that's it. So it's been a lot of fun. That's why I'm trying to come up with another version of the tour where I can go back out and meet more folks because that's been great.
That's what I was going to ask too, is if you were to do something next, right, mm-hmm. What sort of things would you do along these lines? Because a show itself is really big. Show 2, obviously, the next era, the Eras tour of Sandwiches of History, if you will.
Yeah, I'm going to buy my back catalog.
I know, right?
No, the next iteration, as I mentioned before, is going to be hopefully something where I partner with restaurants and do a combination of hang and pop-up, where you can actually order the sandwiches, order plus-ups, and try them out for yourselves. Because that's one thing we did not solve for this version of the tour. There's going to be a sandwich festival in LA on November 1st. It's still being organized. But that's I'm actually going to try and do kind of a trial run there, partner with a couple of restaurants who are going to be there serving sandwiches anyway, to offer Sandwiches of History for folks to try.
That's really exciting.
Yeah.
So okay, make sure you keep an eye on Barry's stuff for that, because my brother's in Los Angeles, so I may have to send Matt to scout out everything and try some of them.
Absolutely. I'll keep you informed about how the event's shaping up as it gets going.
Do you ever get recognized in public by people? It's just like, hey, Sandwiches of History, it's Barry.
Yeah, once in a while. Most of the time it's, hey, are you Sandwiches of History?
You're like,
Barry,
yes.
Nice to meet you. That doesn't happen a lot. It happens every once in a while. Sometimes it happens in clusters and it's bizarre, but yeah, it does happen.
The weirdest place you've ever been recognized, do you know?
Oh, maybe the Cleveland airport.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, I think was it Cleveland? Yeah, I think it was Cleveland. Was sitting there waiting for the plane, and 3 guys come up individually and say, "Hey, are you Sandwiches?" And it's like,
what's up with Cleveland and Sandwiches of History, man?
I don't know. And like Pittsburgh, it's weird. Like some of the odd things, like Pittsburgh, when we announced the show, it sold out like that, like insane.
Wild.
I did
it's
two
something
shows.
about that area, though. Pennsylvania is too really one of my most popular viewerships. I think it's just food culture.
Yeah. And we did 2 shows in Philadelphia. Did 2 shows in Portland, 2 shows in Seattle in the same night, like an early show and a late show.
That's rock star level, man.
the first show I ever did the first city we ever did was Portland. Bill was my guest, Bill Oakley.
Yep.
And we did a early show and a late show. And I'd never done, like, I'm an old man. I'm in bed at 9 o'clock. And the second show starts at 9. I'm like, oh, okay. And CBS News Sunday Morning, which had come to my house and filmed for like 8 hours for a thing, wanted to capture some footage for Sandwiches History Live. So they came to my second ever show to record.
Oh my God.
It's like, all right, well, try by fire.
Absolutely zero pressure on that, right? Just casually CBS coming through.
No.
I mean, you're living ideally. It's like a food rock star in a lot of ways. It can kind of like some people play 2 shows in 2 cities in a day, and you're doing 2 of the sandwich shows in a day, which is kind of a dream.
Yeah, well, it's tough. I got to say, it is draining for someone like me who's not used to it. So we've only done it in 3 cities where we did 2 shows in one day. I'll tell you the best ones for me, energy wise, matinees, 2 p.m. in the afternoon on a Saturday. Let's go.
And there's nothing more lunch worthy than a sandwich, realistically.
Yeah.
So
plus, when you do it during the day, almost all the shows are all ages that I do, because so many people write in and say, "Oh, we watch with our kid every."
I get that too. It's so sweet.
And they'll send videos sometimes of the kids doing Sandwiches of History. Let's give this a go, and it's adorable. But if you have a show at 7 o'clock that's all ages, probably not going to get a lot of kids going to that because they got school the next day or something.
It was really cool to see with Bill's show too how people from literally all walks of life were there. I walked in because and this isn't anything that reflects on Bill whatsoever. It's just like, I don't know what to expect because I know Bill obviously, and I'm like, I'm just going to go see this. It's cool. And I hadn't given myself the ability to process like what that was. Sort of like, I'm sure people go in and like, oh, this sounds great. Like I get to see Barry do his thing with the sandwiches. And then you get to these experiences and you sit there and you're like, this is really cool. Like I'm sitting there with a bunch of people who have the same interests I do. And we're just going to talk about things and learn about stuff for a hot minute. And then in the scenario with the Culinary Curiosities dinner, I'm like, I got people that are like my parents' age. I got people that are younger than me. I got people that are very obviously Mission Hill fans. So is there a particular demographic that the content on your end tends to adhere to, or is it sandwiches are pretty universal? Is it a good mix?
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're to look at the demographic breakdown on the platforms like TikTok or Instagram, YouTube, it says they're this, they're that. But if you go to the shows, they run the gamut. I've seen elderly folks at shows. I've seen kids at shows, a lot of kids at shows. So, and parents, and then young people, middle-aged people a little bit older than me, like, it just runs the gamut as far as who shows up for Sandwiches of History Live.
I mean, it's such a thing that connects people, and it's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
I have to know that after reviewing thousands of sandwiches from history, what would you say are your top ones for people to try?
Any of the international sandwiches probably you can't miss, right? There's a reason.
Can we just do meat and cheese?
No, meat and cheese just by itself is probably not enough. But roast beef, arugula, and blue cheese is great. A little olive oil. It's tasty.
Blue cheese fan, I see.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And not to pump my own cookbook, why not?
Do it. That's why we're here anyway. People want to hear about you and what you got going on.
The bacon and olive club sandwich is fantastic.
That sounds fantastic.
It is. Like I've had it a few times now, and it is delicious. The tomato from Turkey and the Wolf, so good. And now is the time to make it.
What? I'm not familiar with it. What is it?
Oh, okay. So you take Texas toast. It's just thick bread, right?
Yeah.
Butter it up, griddle it on both sides, set it up on a plate like this, so they're leaning on each other so they don't get soggy.
Almost like a tent, kind of.
Prep your other ingredients, which are, you're going to need mayonnaise, salted roasted sunflower seeds, thick slices of super ripe tomatoes, dill, and basil. And so then you basically take the bread, slather on mayonnaise. He goes for Duke's because that's his favorite. But what I'd say, it'll work with any really. Duke's sunflower seeds, thick slices of tomato, salt, pepper, way too much dill, way too much basil, and then mayonnaise on the other slice and close it up. And it sounds good, but then you taste it and it's like, how is this so good? This is so amazingly good that you'll want to make it again and again. It's
I need
so
to
good.
try that. I'm a big fan of tomato sandwiches in particular. One, I crave almost nonstop. My dad's family's Italian, and it's like basically the caprese sub. So you've got the tomato, the mozzarella, the prosciutto, and again that like shit ton of basil on there with a little bit of olive oil, and that's all you need. So that's not a far stretch. You know, like a little bit of a different flavor profile, but I don't look at that. I'm like, I
almost forgot. Squeeze of lemon juice.
Oh, lemon juice. It's the important finishing touch.
Yeah, if you go on my YouTube channel, you can see just put the tomato and search for it. You'll see how to make it. It's easy to make and it's so good. I am
trying to do more things. Sandwiches count as culinary exploits. I'm trying to do more things. I'm trying to eat at home more, honestly. So I could have a field day just with that because bread is still cheap and a lot of the stuff is pretty reasonable.
Tomatoes are never cheaper than right now.
Yeah. Do you have any? It's true. I mean, it's also it's a perfect season for it too. As we get ready to head into fall, do you have any special sandwich recommendations aside from that one for the cooler weather?
Well, I mean, usually you get into the hotter sandwich, like a Reuben is fantastic during cold weather or cool weather even. Kentucky hot brown is delicious, but it's I was going to ask
if you had it because that's what we had at Bill's dinner the other day.
It's delicious, but it's a lot of work. And it's not light.
It's not. I had maybe like a third of it. Granted, this was after having 5 other courses of meal, but everybody got the Kentucky hot brown. And I will say everything with the turkey though. And it's just like there was bacon on there. Mm-hmm. What's the sauce on the Kentucky hot brown?
Béarnaise, I believe. If I'm not, it's a cheese sauce. Basically. Yeah,
like a thick, because you start off with a
bechamel. Yeah,
the bechamel. I always get that confused with the roux, and I'm like, which one is it? It's one of these things. And
well, the roux is the foundation of the bechamel.
Yes, I know.
So basically, the fat and flour, and you cook it so that the flour doesn't have a raw flavor anymore, and then you add your liquid, whether that's milk, stock, water, whatever, and when you gets to a boil, the roux thickens the whole thing. So the bechamel would be milk added to a roux, and then once it comes up to a temperature and bubbles, you throw in a bunch of water or a bunch of cheese, becomes a Béarnaise sauce or whatever cheese sauce, if you will.
Yeah, the Béarnaise works really well because it's one of the main mother sauces, right, for the French cuisine. That Hollandaise and the other ones, which I couldn't tell you for the life of me, but probably should know for trivia night. But that's okay. That's all we need. Yeah. This is just a stupid question anyway. But do you consider something like Eggs Benedict at that point to be a sandwich, or is it because it's kind of open faced?
It's like an open faced sandwich as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, it falls into the category of sandwich for me because I again, like people like, well, it doesn't have 2 pieces of bread. It's not a sandwich. It's like, okay, technically, sure, but yeah.
Did I ask you if you had tried the North Shore roast beef, like the actual ones up here? Did we talk about that?
I don't know if you asked me that, but I did actually. This gentleman named Josh, who is a fan, and came to my show in Boston, my first show in Boston, early in January. That the second show I did in Boston, which was in May, he was kind enough to he and a friend were kind enough to bring me a North Shore roast beef because I couldn't. I couldn't make it out there, but it was sloppy but delicious. Was
it everything you had hoped?
Yeah, and it was exactly what I was expecting, and I loved it.
Did they do the 3-way, or did they do it just with like the so it had the cheese and everything on it?
Yep.
Isn't the sauce magic? The James River barbecue. They brought you a bottle of that too, didn't they? That you put on the sandwich.
He gave me a bottle of that at the January show, and that's what prompted me to make the North Shore roast beef here. Okay. And then in the May show, I was like, I got to get it up there, and I couldn't get up there because of various obligations. And he's, bring one. I'm like, all right. So he brought one down, macked it down at the hotel. It was delicious.
It is so funny when it comes to that particular sauce too. For folks who don't have context as to what the North Shore roast beef is, this is a very niche Massachusetts sandwich. You probably know better than I do. Actually, what is the history of the North Shore roast beef? Do you know off the top of your head?
Yeah, I forget the name of the place, but there's it was a hot dog stand in North Shore, and they also worked at an event space next door or something like that, and they had a wedding cancel and they had 2 sides of roast beef, and they're like, okay, so they took it back to the shop, sliced it really thin, and sold it the next day as sandwiches. And that's supposedly the origin story of the North Shore roast beef. Now, how they came to get James River, which is from Virginia barbecue sauce up in North Shore, I don't know that, but that's supposedly is the origin of it.
I had no idea. It's been a staple way past as long as I've been alive. We're talking easily something like 50 plus years. But the North Shore, for listeners, is the northeast pocket of Massachusetts that is north of Boston, and the South Shore is the southeast pocket of Massachusetts, south of Boston. But the North Shore is where I grew up for the most part. I was also raised in Georgia, but I was born in Massachusetts, Georgia, back to the North Shore. Okay. Weird. Yeah. Long time. But
very similar.
Yeah, basically, yeah, more or less. The cultures, Georgia. Why not?
Yeah.
Very historic places. But the North Shore is basically where I've lived most of my life, and most people outside of our area don't really know what it is, but generally it is that it's a rare roast beef, and then almost all of them, like 90% of them, and you'd be surprised by how many places have this sandwich. It's like you have roast beef and you have seafood. Like it's literally like it'll be like Jim's roast beef and seafood, and then maybe pizza.
So weird. Sure, why
I know. Did you know that?
The thing that was weird to me about the North Shore roast beef that I didn't know was that depending on what size you order, determined what kind of roll you got. Sesame seed, onion, depends on what size you order.
I knew that the largest came with the onion roll, but I didn't know that the sesame seed was part of the thing, which is also, as a child, it pissed me off because I used to eat a lot of food and I hated onions. Now I've grown into it. My palate has evolved. Yeah, but I'd be like, why is the most meat always come on the roll that I hate the most, And it was the whole thing. But it's just fascinating how regional it gets. It's literally like roast beef and seafood. It's for some reason
that's hilarious.
All these restaurants is the same thing, but they 99% of the time all use James River. Don't know why. Our grocery stores carry it, so if you ever need a hookup for James River, I am happy to ship you some. 100%. Oh yeah, I can go 5-10 minutes down the street and I can get like 8 bottles of it. And what'll happen is I'll crave the sandwich. I'll go to make it at my house, and then I'll open it and it'll just like sit there for 6 months, and I'll be like, damn it, I gotta get another one. It's
Yeah, no, I've used it. I used it a couple of times on different stuff just for myself because I enjoyed it. But
it's so good.
It's not sold out here at all.
I also just realized, or what I just learned, wasn't sold out in California, which is really tragic. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is somebody else that had told us this. But Martin's potato rolls.
Yep, they're not sold out here.
That blew my mind because
it's Pennsylvania kind of East Coast thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is King's Hawaiian the substitute at that point when it comes to California?
King's Hawaiian's a little sweeter than Martin's. Like potato bread, it has a sweetness, but it's just natural sweetness. King's Hawaiian is sweetened, so it's definitely a richer, sweeter bread.
A distinction is there. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So basically, you got to look for like potato rolls out here, and that'll be the closest you're going to get.
Just like Pepperidge Farm, something. I don't know.
Or a local bakery that does them.
A local bakery, of course. I think in terms of the big breads that you could find everywhere.
Right.
But the Martin's thing just shocked me. Anyway, this is all just really cool. I encourage everybody to check out everything that Barry does, because you've just done so much, again, between your regular content on social media and the show. Like you said, the rest of the tour is coming soon, which I'll have you talk about again in a second. Okay. The cookbook is cool. I'm assuming it's the Sandwiches of History cookbook.
The Sandwiches of History, the cookbook.
The cookbook.
Yeah.
And for folks that are looking for the roadshow or the last part of it, walk us through the dates and the cities again.
You can go to sandwichesofhistory.com/live to see the dates and get there's links to get tickets. Going to be in Austin on September 27th, Las Vegas, September 29th, Denver, October 1st. We're working on Minneapolis on the 3rd of October, and then we're going to wrap things up in Tempe, Arizona, which is Phoenix, which is Mesa. Like they're all just right there on October 5th.
Cool. Thank you so much for that. And
thank you.
For folks who want to find you on social media, what do they look up?
Sandwiches of History. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Reddit. And if you're on, you might find some of my other social media accounts on Instagram, on YouTube, and TikTok. I've got Barry's Ice Cream O'Clock, where I combine sweet and savory combinations and try different, flavor ideas. Like I did a Thanksgiving stuffing flavored ice cream that was butter ice cream.
How was that?
It was fantastic. It was so good.
Was it really?
Oh my God. Yeah. It was fantastic. It was, I want to make it again because it was so good.
That's incredible.
So I do on Instagram, I've got Craft Beer Barry, where I review craft beers, although I haven't been doing a lot of that lately. Just because I've been super busy. Barry's Cooking Again, where I cook recipes that I find online on different things. And I'm like, I want to try that. Let's see how it goes. And then what's the other one? Oh, In the Chips with Barry, where I review potato chips and snacks from around the world.
It's really been quite a time too, just for chips in the U.S. So I'm sure the international stuff has been equally as good. It's
crazy. Like you have World Market where you are?
I love World Market. There's a World Market. World Market is probably 15 minutes from my house, and I could literally spend hours there.
Oh yeah, and me too. And they have greatly expanded the variety of international chips that they offer, because it used to be like they had like one or two brands.
It'd be like Lay's from China and Thailand.
Now it's Lay's from China, Lay's from Thailand.
So before it wasn't.
Keogh's potato chips from Ireland. They've got this series from Calbee, but it's made in America for the American market. But they're Asian flavors like beef short ribs, spicy Korean short ribs, yellow curry, and they're fantastic. So if you have a World Market,
they just dropped. Yeah, World Market, and also the sauces. I like World Market for the sauces. They've got so many of them.
Their spice section is brilliant. Their herbs and spices they have. You can find stuff there that you won't find necessarily at your supermarket.
It's got to be great for everything that you do too. Like if you're doing the ice creams, they've got all the Cadbury things, right? They have all the chocolate bars. They have all the
everything I need.
Not the Twix. They do have the Twix, but the Kit Kats. The Kit Kat section to me at World Market is
insane.
Oh my God, the cookies and cream. You've got the matcha. You've got like orange dark chocolate.
The only problem is you have to buy like a pound of it. Like you have to buy this huge amount. I'm like, I just want to try it.
I do this all the time too, because I'll get those packs, because sometimes I'll do live streams where I try stuff in front of everybody. That is my roadshow, except it's in the comfort of my attic. But it's that where I open up the packs and I'm like, damn it. And I like really like it. And then I'm like, well, I've got 8 more of them and now I have to eat them. And it's such a tragedy. It's an occupational hazard.
It is. Yeah. Well, trust me. I like before I started the Sandwiches of History live shows, I was running 6 miles 3 times a week and walking 5 miles 3 times a week, because I love running, because that's where I get ideas. I go into autopilot. I know a lot of people hate running, but for me, I just go into autopilot and I can just work on ideas and stuff. Now I'm starting up again. I'm starting to run again because I need to kind of lose a little weight that I've gained on
Me too. Don't worry. I'm right there with you. The travel gets you.
Yeah. The travel is brutal for weight and for exercise. So I'm going to try and, for the last 5 dates, I'm going to try and mitigate that. So
I'm manifesting this for you. I say that every time I get into, I'm literally doing it this weekend. I'm going to New York and I'm like, oh, there's a gym down the street. Maybe I'll get some day passes and actually work out. And then I never do. And then I'm like, wow, I gained 15 pounds in the course of the year. Well, how did this happen?
When I first started Sandwiches of History Live, I'm like, I am going to work out at the gyms. And it's just like,
is this the 6th edition to the Barry Extended Universe? the Barry gym content?
No. I'm not going to be a gym bro. No way.
Is that were you an athlete growing up at all?
No, and I should have been, because I was 6'4". I am 6'4".
I was going to say, you have very tall man energy. I was like,
I should have done more athletics, but the problem was that I hated all the coaches because they were jerks.
Yeah,
so like, why would I want to hang out with you? I'd rather listen to music. So
I'd rather do the same thing anyway. Thank you so much for coming on today. This is really
Absolutely.
awesome.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Yeah, you gotta do edition 2 of the Roadshow so I can go to one. It kills me that I missed one.
I gotta figure out the economics of it. That's always the challenge. Even the Sandwiches of History Live, I spent money to make that tour happen. But for me, it's like, okay,
investment, as they say.
Well, experience, right? For me, it's like, I've never done anything like this. When would I ever have a chance to do anything like that again? All right, fine. I didn't, not only did I not make money, I lost money on the tour, but it's like, it's okay. I can chalk it up to like, I paid for an experience. So it's been a lot of fun. I got to go to Dublin and London and do the shows there. So
that's a good perspective. Can I ask you one more? Actually, I have two more questions. I keep on saying, well, I'll let you go.
That's all right.
Do you have any advice for people that you've learned throughout this process that you think might be valuable? Because it seems like you've definitely come back with some perspective on it.
I would say that it benefits you if you can build it into your life in such a way that it's not a huge time suck. Like for me, Sandwiches of History started, I was like, oh, I'll just record a sandwich or half sandwich for lunch, and then that'll be it. And then the next day I'll edit it over coffee in the morning. I'll edit it and stage it. And that way it was not this huge onerous thing. Now it's gotten a little bit to be a little bit onerous because I want to continue posting while I'm on the road. So I'll have to record sandwiches in advance, right? So it gets a little overwhelming. But if you're able to build it into your day in such a way that it doesn't feel like it's a huge disruption, you'll less likely burn out on it. And the other thing is to make sure that you be mindful of not burning out. Don't burn out on stuff if you can help it. Like people are like, are you sick of sandwiches? I'm like, no, I love sandwiches.
1,000 down, 1,000 more.
Yeah, there's so many interesting possibilities for sandwiches. So I really like that. The other thing is, I really do think that I benefited from consistency and persistence, right? So I post every day at noon Pacific, no matter where I am in the world. And people have told me that they're like, this is my sanity break. At 3:00, you come on and it's great. Or we watch you every single night. Like they come to understand that I am going to be posting a video that they can watch and enjoy every day. Most of the stuff I say on the show, like, oh, let's give this a go, I'm going to plus this up. Those are just things that just came out of my mouth. And that's how I speak. The one thing that I've consciously done is added the see you tomorrow at the end, because I want to remind people that I post daily. So being consistent, and you don't have to post every day, but if you're like, I'll see you next Wednesday, because you're posting weekly on Wednesdays, right? That kind of thing helps people to be like, okay, got it.
I may low-key steal that later today.
There's no stealing. It's offered
mind?
for free. No, it's offering for free.
Well, I usually tell people like, I'll catch you guys in the next one, but that doesn't have the same efficacy as I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you say, like, how often do you post?
Every single day at this point. It can be multiple times a day. I'm just
all right. I'll see you. I'll check you guys tomorrow.
I will see them tomorrow.
Take it. Do it.
I'm doing it.
Yes.
That's fantastic advice.
Yeah.
See, I even learned something from doing this all the time. That's the benefit.
Yeah. No, I learn all the time too. Like, I learned about. Do you upload to YouTube at all?
Yeah, I do shorts as well. I usually stick to Facebook, Instagram, shorts.
One thing that
TikTok.
I've learned about YouTube that may or may not be true, but anecdotally, I think it's true. Someone pointed out that YouTube is owned by Google. Google is the biggest search engine. YouTube is the second biggest search engine. So what I've been doing is taking the name of the video, the tags that I use for the video on YouTube, and the description I use on YouTube, and putting that in the metadata for the file that I upload. Oh. And I definitely have seen an increase in followers and ad revenue and stuff like that.
That is a major hack. Yeah. That's not even a hack. That's using some, very smart activities that.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, I didn't even think about that. That makes sense. And
well, music is like that too with Spotify and all those. Is you embed everything in the metadata.
Right.
And I'm kicking myself for not thinking about it now, but better late than never at this point.
I was going to say, don't kick yourself, just start doing it.
I'm somebody who I think about the hindsight of like, I could have been doing this whole time. That was my thing when I
look. Unless you got a time machine, it doesn't matter. Look forward.
It doesn't matter. This is cathartic. This is so cathartic.
Awesome.
My last stupid question, because I had to ask: is Barry short for anything?
No, I don't think it's a stupid question. People ask me that my entire life, and I used to be called Barents in school because Larry Lawrence, Barry Barents. But no, Barry is not short for anything. But it is. I did find out that it's from Finbar, which is Irish. Okay. And it's derivative of that. And Finbar apparently means fair-haired one, which
there's some irony there.
Yeah, exactly. So what's great is my last name supposedly came from Innerwick, which means one who lives near the dairy. So my full name would be Fair-Haired One Who Lives Near the Dairy.
I love that. I was wondering if it was Bartholomew, because Bartholomew Enderwick sounds like such a main character.
It does, but no, that'd be Bart. I'd be Bart.
Yeah, I guess it would, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Go figure. Modern standards.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Barry. We really,
Thanks
really
for having
appreciate
me.
it.
It was a lot of fun.
Anytime.
All right, see you tomorrow.
Yes, see you tomorrow.